Hi everyone, Christine here at the craft table. Finally, I took a week off because I did a little traveling, went home to see my family, spent some time with my dad. He loved the blanket, so that was really cool. And so I took my crochet with me. It was a week that I was gone and got very little done. So it's been 2 weeks now because the day I got back, I had nothing to share of consequence. I did next to no crocheting on my trip. And so I'll show you where I am on those 2 projects that I took with me, but you may not even notice a difference. Just a warning. Okay, so this is what I took with me because they were 2 small projects, and I actually just took this bag and stuffed it in this one, and that was my crochet. And I did have a couple of sessions, I just didn't get much done. My stepmom crochets as well, so we had fun comparing projects, but that was about the extent of my crochet. So the first project was this scarf that I started a while back with this Darn Good Yarns Peekaboo lace weight silk yarn. It's a 0 weight lace weight, and it comes in a hank like that. I received it in a surprise box that I bought from J Hook Crochet. Yeah. And here's my progress so far. The other project I took with me was my socks. And I think I probably got all of 3 rows on the heel done of this sock. So again, I'm working them at the same time, but this one hasn't been touched since I picked up this one. So there's still a few more rows left to go on that first part of the heel. Then we've got one more section of the heel to close it up, and then I can do the cuff and they will be done. This is washable. I know a lot of people say that they hand wash their socks. It is machine washable. It's superwash merino. I think it's 85, I don't remember, 85.15 maybe. Anyhow, oh, here it is. Oh, 75% superwash merino wool, 25% nylon. So I already have a pair of socks in these 2 yarns. That's just opposite. I used the variegated for the big part and the green for the toes and cuff and heel. I've been washing it in the washer and just wanted to let you know that they do get a little fuzzy, especially this one. This is the Cascade Heritage. If I don't put them in a laundry bag, they do get kind of fuzzy in the washer, I think, just rubbing against all the other clothes. So FYI, maybe it is better to hand wash these. They're still soft, they're still wearable. I noticed mostly in the cuff that there's a little bit of fuzz on those now. And I think they're in the laundry again because every time they're clean, I wear them. I love those socks. So I should be more motivated to finish this pair. So I have 2 in the same yarns. But there you have it. So those were the 2 projects I took with me on my trip. And as you can see, I would not have had much to share. When I returned, I first picked up my little stack of squares that I have been adding a border to before I joined them. These guys. And I think I did 1.5 of the herringbone stitch. So I still have Oh, that's interesting. I have 3 squares left to do borders on, one of each color. And then we can join soon. But no promises, because these days I kind of just pick up whatever I feel like working on, and it's not always putting borders on squares I made eons ago, sad to say. It will get finished, but I just can't tell you when. So stay tuned. The other thing I picked up, I opened my bin of scraps because I was going to work on that scrap gown I started, and this was laying on the very top. And if you remember, this is the yarn that I used for the chunky Benjamina amigurumi bear I made recently. And there is just enough to make a whole other bear. And I really have no other plans for this yarn. So I started bear number 2. I couldn't help myself. I dropped the nose. You start with the nose, and then you set it aside, and you start with the body. And again, the thing I love about this pattern is she has you leave holes here. Let's see, here and here. And it's just like a 8-chain hole for the legs, and then when I get up to the arms, I'll be leaving holes for the arms as well. And then you come back and you sew up, you start here to make the leg. So there's no attaching pieces and lining up legs and arms and getting them crooked. And on this pattern, the head is also part of the same piece. So you don't have an additional head to sew on either. So I just love this pattern. And what makes it also unique is that you stuff it very sparingly. So with this yarn, the Karen Latte Cake, it just ends up being this squishy, huggable teddy bear. And so I'm looking forward to finishing this one as well. I gave the other one away. I hope she's being loved. I don't know what I'll do with this one, but I am just enjoying bringing her into existence. So, still a ways to go on the body and then the head. And you do attach the ears, and of course the nose that I already made will get attached to the face. But that's the only attaching, the ears and nose. The eyes get sewn on. I don't like to use the fake eye, the plastic eyes, so I will sew on the eyes. And I don't believe she has a mouth, if I remember correctly. Anyway, so that's progress on the pattern is called Chunky Benji. I call her Benjamina because she's pink. And it's by Crochet Object Knitting on YouTube. And the pattern is available on Etsy, and she might have it on Ravelry as well. I don't remember. The last thing I've worked on recently is my scrap gown, and I'm happy to report I've made a little progress on this. Isn't that adorable? I'm having so much fun with this. I just reach into my bin of scrap yarns and kind of see which color would go with the 2 colors that it's going to border, and then I add it on, and there's an add-on in progress. It's a join as you go. So you started with this one at the corner, and then you do the 2 on the sides, and then you come to this, and then the middle, of course, and then you go to this one. So you're constantly creating a bigger square, and this is always the top. So that way you keep your seams all on one side if you always keep that first square as your top. And you just join them in the spaces, so it's a quick join. And of course, with any granny square, you're going to have a lot of ends. I try to keep up with the ends, at least sewing them on as soon as I finish. That's the back. As soon as I finish a row of the diamond as it's shaped here, I make sure and sewing my ends, because they do start getting in the way of your joining if you don't weave them in. So couldn't leave them all till the last. But this is just so much fun. I love working on it. And when I finally picked it up, again, I can't put it down. So that's why my other projects are languishing right now. I love this. Okay, that is all I have. I had a good visit with my dad, and I'm glad to be back with my little family here in Kentucky. And I hope to see you again soon with more progress on these crochet projects.